The deep and narrow tunnel was full of zombies. "They are sleeping," Uncle Yu said in a low voice. "This makes sense," Zhang Yi whispered. "Even as a host of the virus, action requires energy. So when they don't get orders, they lurk in the dark to rest." Uncle Yu raised the flamethrower in his hand. "How about burning them all?" Zhang Yi looked at the densely packed sleeping zombies and recalled what Zhou Keir said. These zombies retain some biological properties. Strictly speaking, they are more like a swarm of insects. In this case, they also need to rest and fall into a deep sleep. If they can fall into a deep sleep and never wake up, there is no need to wake them up. Zhang Yi thought very beautifully, but the reality is always very cruel. Not long after they appeared here, a sleeping zombie suddenly opened its eyes. More and more zombies crawled up from the ground, their twisted bodies standing upright in a weird posture. When they saw a living person in front of them, they let out hoarse roars in their throats and rushed forward like crazy. "It's not that easy. This is a bit troublesome." Zhang Yi frowned and did not let Uncle Yu use the flamethrower. Instead, he opened the dimensional gate to block the way. Although this can clear these ordinary zombies, but it will definitely attract the attention of the Zombie King deep in the tunnel. It will undoubtedly be more difficult to kill the Zombie King. A large group of zombies rushed into the dimensional gate one after another. Liang Yue and others saw this scene, and their eyes were full of envy. In terms of defense alone, Zhang Yi's attribute points are almost full, and this ability is almost unsolvable except for using excessive energy attacks to forcibly break it. The tide of zombies continued to pour in, but suddenly they all stopped as if they had received some kind of order. It was so neat that it made people feel as if someone suddenly pressed the pause button. Then, the zombie group actually stopped outside the range of the dimensional gate and sent out disgusting and unpleasant wails to Zhang Yi and others. "The Zombie King has discovered us," Zhang Yi said in a deep voice. "In that case, there's no need to keep them. Burn them to death." Uncle Yu and Fatty Shu came over and aimed the flamethrower directly at the zombies. In the narrow tunnel, the flamethrower can exert its maximum power. 2 fire dragons more than 10 meters long covered dozens of zombies in front, and the flames burned fiercely. After the zombies were burned, their bodies twisted and made a crackling sound. The flames began to spread to the back, and soon hundreds of zombies were covered by the fire. And the subsequent zombies actually began to slowly retreat and left the range covered by the flames. Zhang Yi's eyes were full of caution. He said in a deep voice, "The Zombie King is not far from here, chase him." He put away the dimensional door and took a few people to chase him deep. The road ahead has been completely blocked by the dense zombies. They let out disgusting howls, but did not dare to rush over to attack Zhang Yi and others. Instead, they slowly retreated. Because there are so many zombies, the flamethrower is particularly refreshing to use, just like making a barbecue. There was no way Zhang Yi's spatial ability was too abnormal. It completely restrained the ability of the zombies, making it impossible for the zombies that used biting as their means of attack to fully play their advantage in group battles. This even gave people the illusion that these zombies were very weak. However, if you have seen them wreaking havoc on the 4 major forces, no one would have such an idea. The flamethrower continued to spray raging flames, illuminating the tunnel and burning the zombies blocking the front into ashes. The zombies retreated in fear. Facing Zhang Yi's perverted ability, they had no power to fight back. But there was not much joy on Zhang Yi's face. For him, there was no sense of accomplishment in destroying these ordinary zombies. He wanted to kill the Zombie King who secretly controlled the zombies. If the Zombie King didn't die, it could continuously create such zombies. However, the movement here was obviously discovered by the Zombie King. It would be more difficult to find its location. But since he was here, Zhang Yi had to try it anyway. Relying on the bug-level defense ability of the Dimension Gate, Zhang Yi led several people to kill all the way. Flower and Liang Yue didn't even have a chance to make a move. However, Liang Yue looked behind her from time to time. She reminded Zhang Yi, "Those giant rats are still staring at us from behind. The damn rats in the sewer can hide in the cracks of various corners. Their number is probably even greater than that of zombies, and they can't be killed at all." Zhang Yi said in a deep voice, "Don't worry about them for now. We have to find the location of the zombie king as soon as possible and kill it to eliminate the trouble forever." Liang Yue said, "But the speed of advancement is still too slow. There are too many zombies in the tunnel." Zhang Yi said, "It doesn't matter. We just keep going. This time the supplies and supernatural food are well prepared, and we can fight a tug-of-war with them." Zhang Yi said, "The number of zombies is reduced, so we can speed up a bit." On the other side, in the subway tunnel outside the Yangsheng base, Donghu brought a group of elite soldiers here to investigate intelligence, but not long after they moved forward, they were attacked by rats. Crazy rats surrounded them from all directions, rushing over with red eyes and hissing. The sharp teeth were like knives piercing their protective clothing. "Be careful! Don't get bitten by them! They can bite through our protective clothing!" The soldiers screamed one after another and had to use flamethrowers and rifles to frantically kill the rats. Donghu's ability is Flame Fist. His fist can release raging flames in the form of a release system, and the high-temperature flames can instantly burn a group of rats to ashes. After more than 10 minutes of fighting, they finally fought back the rats with difficulty. However, 8 of his soldiers had already died under the sharp teeth of the mutant giant rats. Many soldiers were seriously injured. Donghu's face was full of haze. He said, "Let's move on. Our goal is to find the corpse group and obtain information about them. Until then, no matter what difficulties we encounter, we must overcome them." Yangsheng Base Survey Corps. They are now in the subway tunnel of the Rongchang Line. After experiencing the attack of the rat swarm, they lost some soldiers and then moved forward with difficulty. Finally, they found a group of zombies sleeping in the subway. Donghu's pupils shrink suddenly. "Retreat! Retreat quickly!" The zombies smelled the smell of living people, opened their eyes one by one, and stood up from their sleep. It was densely packed, and it seemed that there were zombies all over the subway from this side to the end. "Run quickly! Don't look back!" Donghu punched hard, and the raging flames ignited more than a dozen zombies in front. But behind them, a large number of zombies pushed the zombies in front away and then rushed over madly. Flamethrowers, grenades, and spray guns were all used. The Survey Corps knew that zombies were afraid of fire, so all members were equipped with these weapons when they came. Relying on the power of weapons, they slowed down the speed of the zombie group's attack. "We can only retreat first. This scale is much larger than the attack a few days ago. Our zombie horde is more than 10 times larger. There is no way to fight it." Donghu and others felt their scalps go numb. The number of zombies in front of them was beyond their imagination. Although they had prepared themselves mentally in advance, they were still shocked when they really encountered them. "Retreat quickly. Our firearms can delay them for a while. Escape from the nearest subway entrance quickly. Quick! Quick!" Donghu commanded loudly and calmly. They were not here to die, but to collect intelligence. So when they encountered a zombie horde that was impossible to defeat, they had to escape decisively. But at this moment, a soldier using a flamethrower suddenly opened his eyes wide. He pointed at the huge shadow that appeared in front of him. What is this thing?" Not only him, but all the people in the Survey Corps saw the huge figure behind the wall of fire. It actually stepped over the raging flames in one step, revealing a hideous head that was 3 times the size of a normal human. The first few soldiers were torn to pieces in an instant, and even Donghu and other mutants fell into deep despair when they saw it. Donghu said, "This is bad." On the other side, Zhang Yi and his group chased the zombies all the way forward, and the whole tunnel was full of flames. They wore special combat uniforms and walked through the flames and burning corpses without being affected. The zombies were also retreating rapidly, and their numbers were slowly decreasing. Zhang Yi and his group passed through the tunnel and suddenly came to an open place. They arrived at a new station. Only then did Zhang Yi understand why the zombies dissipated so quickly. This is a transfer station, and the zombies can quickly disperse to other channels. This is a bit troublesome. With a transfer station, we can't figure out the specific location of the Zombie King. In this way, how can we determine where to go? Fatty Shu looked around helplessly, like a headless fly. But I have a feeling. Zhang Yi suddenly spoke. His eyes were like a knife, sweeping around sharply. That thing is not far away from us. Just as he finished speaking, a heavy footstep suddenly came from the surrounding tunnels. It was like stepping on corpses, walking towards them heavily and slowly. The sound echoed in the dark tunnel, as if it came from all directions at the same time, making it impossible to know what was approaching and how many there were. "Watch out, the big ones are coming!" Deep in the subway, a dull sound suddenly came from all around. Zhang Yi and his companions looked a little serious. The sound was as if some terrible monster had broken free from the cage. "Be careful! The big one is coming!" Zhang Yi reminded everyone. Fatty Shu couldn't help swallowing his saliva, then picked up the flamethrower in his hand and looked around cautiously. Could it be that the zombie tide that they had just beaten back step by step is coming back again? "It's okay," Uncle Yu said. "No matter how many of those things come, we can kill them all." But at this moment, Flower suddenly howled. The voice was full of vigilance. It was as if they had encountered some terrible enemy. Flower's combat power is very strong, especially when it is gigantic. Its combat power is still higher than Uncle Yu. When it is so alert, it means that the opponent it encounters is very dangerous. Zhang Yi's eyes were solemn. He whispered to himself, "Could it be that the Zombie King has appeared?" The Zombie King. These two words brought great pressure to everyone. Although no one has seen it, a terrifying existence that can control thousands of zombies, or even tens of thousands of zombies, is definitely an extremely difficult and ruthless character. No one knows how powerful it is, what kind of abilities it will have. A black shadow slowly appeared. As soon as it appeared, it occupied everyone's attention. In the darkness, a tall and thin creature like a giant stick insect slowly walked towards everyone. After Zhang Yi saw its appearance clearly, his pupils couldn't help but shrink. What he saw was not the image of a human. Instead, it was a monster with a humanoid form and covered with bronze-hard skin. In the dark shadow, it was at least 3 meters tall, with 2 long arms hanging down to the ground. There was not a trace of excess fat on the body, all disgusting and ugly dark red muscles, wrapped in bronze-hard skin, a triangular head with a pair of huge ears, a mouth full of fangs with a faint glow. The ferocious eyes had a pair of brown vertical pupils. Uncle Yu couldn't help but say, "Is this the Corpse King?" before others had time to answer his question. 3 more identical monsters appeared from the other 3 directions. These 4 things are like quadruplets. Except for a slight difference in size, they look almost exactly the same. This thing, is it mass-produced? It is definitely not born naturally. Zhang Yi's heart was beating wildly. He immediately realized that there must be some huge conspiracy hidden in it. The birth of the zombie group is definitely not accidental. There must be human factors in it. And behind these 4 monsters, the zombie group reappeared. They gathered around the 4 bronze-armored corpses, staring at everyone with dim eyes. All directions were surrounded by zombies, and there was no way through. They were so dense that it was impossible to count how many there were. That kind of terrifying sense of oppression. Even the experienced people felt a little pressure. Fatty Shu's face turned pale. "These things don't look like ordinary zombies." Zhang Yi's eyebrows stood up. He said coldly, I understand. It turns out that these guys have been leading us here. Their goal is to surround and annihilate us. Even though he knew that the Zombie King was intelligent, Zhang Yi didn't expect that it would use strategies. Zhang Yi's evaluation of the Zombie King in his heart was a few points higher. This thing that can control a large number of zombies and has high enough intelligence. If it is allowed to continue to grow, it will definitely be the nightmare of the entire Tianhai city. No, it will definitely be the nightmare of all mankind. Liang Yue drew out her long knife. At this time, she finally had her place. Zhang Yi, what should we do? Uncle Yu asked. Zhang Yi sneered. What can we do now? We can only fight. Because they were in an open area, Zhang Yi's double doors could not play the greatest role at this time. But even without the ability of the double doors, they are all good fighters, Zhang Yi said cautiously. Liang Yu, Flower, the two of you stay by my side. Don't be too far away. We are too few in number now, and we need to stick together.